When lives are on the line, SWAT gets the call. On today's City Beat, you're in the action on a training mission as this elite team of commandos takes down a bad guy. It's massive, it's state-of-the-art, it's a rolling tour de force, and fortunately, it's on our side. It's the Sacramento Police Department's mobile command center, and it's ready to take charge right now. Plus, we'll put you on both sides of the phone line as a seasoned hostage negotiator demonstrates how to secure the release of a terrified woman being held at gunpoint. All that and more next on City Beat. The officers who drive this vehicle don't mess around. Hi, I'm Joe Oliver. In this edition of City Beat, we'll take you behind the scenes of the Sacramento Police Department's Special Operations teams. You'll go on board the mobile command center as it takes control of downtown Sacramento on New Year's Eve. And you'll hear firsthand what it was like to be taken hostage in Sacramento's most notorious hostage siege ever. If you've seen the movie SWAT, you may remember the line, either you're SWAT or you're not. They're constantly training, constantly vigilant. These elite officers are ready to step into harm's way 24/7 using the most advanced special weapons and tactics. These are truly the officers of SWAT.
Come on out here, your hands up.
These are the sights and sounds of SWAT. They are harsh and hectic, like the world SWAT officers are prepared to thrust themselves into.
But when you talk from a SWAT perspective, those are basically the worst of the worst incidents that you're called in to deal with. Highly volatile. Oftentimes they can take a turn for the very worst in a split second.
With SWAT, you never know what's behind the next door.
When we do use them, people's lives are at stake. And that's the only time we use them, when people's lives are at stake. So it doesn't get too much more critical than that.
Those critical incidences can occur at any time, day or night, and could include such dramatic developments as a hostage situation, suicidal individuals, or barricaded suspects. SWAT is also involved in narcotics operations and issuing high-risk search and arrest warrants. Dangerous dilemmas that unify the team.
It is dangerous, and we rely on each other. That old adage about the chain is only as strong as its weakest link is really true.
A lot of the situations we get in, literally the only protection we have is each other. So we need to know that we can count on the guy next to us.
SWAT is all about teamwork. There is no individual movements. There is no I in the SWAT team. It's all about the team.
Good job, guys. Good job, Bill.
The team has been in existence for the Sacramento Police Department for around 30 years. It consists of 14 officers, 2 team leaders, and the SWAT commander. They are a highly determined, physically fit unit.
16.
Kind of cream of the crop, if you will, because of the physical demands of the training and the potential of the physical demands placed on them in response to an incident. So they have to be very physically fit. They have to be willing to maintain that level of fitness.
Maintain it so they can pass a physical agility test that's sprung on them at least twice a year. The test involves doing pull-ups while wearing up to 35 pounds of gear. Next, the officers run the 880 with some added strength tests thrown in. And finally, the SWAT member must run the 40-yard dash with gear on in under 8 seconds. Along with the sense of trust, teamwork, and the physical tests, there are other qualities needed in a SWAT officer.
Come on.
They have to be able to diagnose situations, come up with plans, oftentimes at just split second.
We don't need a Rambo kind of a person. The person has to be thoughtful, they have to be mature, they have to be confident. It's extremely important that we have very professional, very restrained people doing this job because, again, it's very critical what they do. There are no mistakes.
All of these men in authority over the SWAT unit know what's required. They're former SWAT members themselves.
I was a SWAT officer early in my career.
I was on the team for 2.5 years. Actually, Lieutenant Tatoshin and I were on the team together.
I was a SWAT team member back when, and I know what it's like. Very intense.
The intensity often takes a back seat because officers must remain focused on the mission.
Well, if I told you that I was never worried about the danger or I was scared, I'd be lying to you. If we have a suspect surrender. But what I have to tell you is that we train constantly and we are prepared to accomplish the mission. We don't have time to be afraid.
You don't focus too much on the fear or the danger of it. You're just dealing with the reality of it and trying to solve the problem as safely as we can. That's why we constantly train, because there can be no doubt.
Get low, get low, get low!
That training involves military-style tactics on movement, approach, and entering a room. It includes interaction with canine officers and their dogs. The SWAT team uses night vision, helicopter downlinks, and even a robot to augment their odds of success. And their training also entails access to an arsenal of weapons.
We have at least hopefully 10 hours a month per officer at the range to go through all their weapons, their handgun, their submachine guns, shotguns, their M16s.
They have to be good marksmen in their weaponry. The situation evolves to where force has to be used. It's got to be used accurately, and there's oftentimes no margin for error.
All I know is that I'm going to basically do her in, and then I'm going to take myself out.
The community is really depending on them. When you have a hostage situation or some other highly volatile situation like that, you have to be able to depend on your tactical teams to do the right thing the first time, every time.
Despite their extensive training in weaponry, doing the right thing doesn't always mean using brute force.
We're trained and disciplined to resolve any situation that we're asked to do as peacefully as possible.
The SWAT team is a very patient group. We don't rush anything unless we absolutely, positively have to, because somebody's life is in immediate danger.
That ability to excel in imminent danger is what makes the SWAT team so valuable.
Is we have highly trained officers with the weaponry, the tools, the techniques, and the training to rapidly respond to very fluid, flexible, evolving situations that are oftentimes very volatile and very dangerous. They continually train and practice as a team on techniques and strategies to resolve situations.
Their mission is to respond to your critical incidents, which require that kind of level of expertise.
You got head, I got legs.
The additional training and expertise adds an element of status to this elite group.
Out of a department, we have 706 sworn members. Only 14 people are qualified to carry that title. So it has a little bit of prestige that goes along with it. It's a very select group that is able to claim that title.
We do try and instill a great deal of pride in ourselves. These officers, they've worked hard to get where they are. They have to keep working hard to stay here.
Come on, buddy, let's go.
And they have a reason to be proud and have pride in their team.
Whether it's a spontaneous, stressful SWAT call-out or a pre-planned event like the governor's inauguration, the Sacramento Police Department has a vital vehicle to respond to these high-profile situations. This is the Mobile Incident Command. It's like a police station on wheels. It's like most other vehicles, stored in a garage, starts from a turn of the key, stops with a touch on the brakes. But it's unlike most other vehicles in that it's a crime-fighting machine in motion. It's the Mobile Incident Command Post for the Sacramento Police Department.
It's the flagship, if you will. It is very important that we not only be professional, but that we look professional as well. That vehicle presents that image to the public or to the bad guys out there when they see us roll up with that kind of equipment.
What it affords the department to do is provide the highest level of quality service to the citizen.
That high-quality service includes responding to both proactive and reactive events. Proactive events include things that are scheduled in advance, such as the command van's participation in the USDA conference.
When Governor Schwarzenegger was sworn into office, we had it set up in the downtown area.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. Cheers.
The Mobile Incident Command also made an appearance at the pre-planned New Year's festivities in Old Sacramento.
We had a rather large contingency of officers in a fairly small geographical area dealing with all the New Year's Eve partygoers and revelers. We can run a significantly large-scale operation from a remote location.
Proactive events provide the crew an opportunity to plan in advance and reduce the potential for stress.
I don't know. Can we
From that
adjust anything on the
perspective,
roof?
your anxiety levels and everything are much more reduced because you're somewhat in control of the situation.
A proactive call, there's generally no danger involved.
Reactive calls are a whole different ballgame.
It's obvious to me that you don't know what you're talking about, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Jenny out, and then I'm gonna take myself out.
On a reactive call, you have to think much more quickly on your feet because you don't know what type of situation you're going into. It could be a hostage situation or a sniper situation. Definitely your stress level goes up.
Your anxiety levels are much higher. A major collision scene or flooding or a natural disaster type thing, those are things that outside of your control, you're reacting to. And it can be very unpredictable, very fluid situation. Everybody is pumped up and your anxiety level is extremely high.
Anxiety levels are still reduced, though, thanks to all that the command van and its crew have to offer.
You have to be focused on the mission, and the mission for us typically is quickly setting up so that we can provide law enforcement services to whatever kind of an event we're responding to. That vehicle is designed so that it's self-contained, so that it can roll into a scene and quickly be set up and get into actions.
We want to respond and set up as fast as possible in a tactical situation and be operational. We've been able to accomplish that in less than 10 minutes.
Once the Mobile Incident Command is operational, the crew has access to a wide variety of technological tools.
Everything you see in it was custom built and designed from the ground up. But today, with this Mobile Incident Command post, we absolutely have a whole new generation of intelligence gathering.
This has a communications network. We have 2 cellular phones is what they're called. So anywhere we set up, we have phone service. We also have capability hooked to landline phones. We all know that cellular goes down in a major catastrophe. We have satellite phone also. We also have satellite hookup, the dish. We can watch the local news as well as CNN.
Great information gathering tool from the video camera systems on the roof to the helicopter feeds, the computer network systems. All of that are vital tools in an emergency response.
Other vital tools include a fax machine, copier, flat screen television, DVD player, and that's not all.
We have a mobile data computer inside the vehicle so we can know the calls that are going on as well as dispatch calls from here and let officers know where they need to be.
211 strong arm and
In addition to the technological tools, the mobile command vehicle also offers a lot of creature comforts.
Commanders, they absolutely love it also. Now they got a place out of the cold. We can get that coffee going. We got the food and water, things like that to help them out. No, not to mention a bathroom, you know, there's stress relief right there if you need it.
Stress relief is also achieved by limiting the number of persons inside the Mobile Incident Command.
The more people you get inside, the more noise, the more confusion. If it's a critical incident that's rapidly evolving, you need to have the ability to think, to receive information.
The design of the vehicle also helps to cut down on chaos. The compartments can be segregated so that dispatchers can work up front and focus on their responsibilities. In the back, the command staff can gather to receive information and make decisions during the crisis.
Put somebody's
we need someone up there, definitely.
Yeah.
The command van plays a key role in resolving a lot of incidences. It's often called out on SWAT situations and hostage negotiations.
Well, can I have you come out and talk to us?
So I've taken it out to 2 SWAT call out and 1 shooting. To be on the scene, it's pretty exciting, it's pretty intense.
And it gives a place for the triad, the incident commander, the hostage negotiations team leader, and the SWAT commander to brainstorm and sit down and draw up plans and ideas on how to resolve the situation. It's a mobile office with all our tools necessary to hopefully accomplish the mission.
We have an umbilical cord that goes right to that. It's the powerhouse. We have our own little generator, but they've got so many bells and whistles in that thing.
Bells and whistles that have impressed a lot of individuals.
All the city council persons got to tour it, and they were all very impressed.
As a 28-year law enforcement veteran in Sacramento, 24 as a police officer and 4 as the sheriff of this county, I was extremely impressed.
There's a lot of pride in that piece of equipment.
Pride that was boosted when the department won the Best Command Post Award for 2003 at Cops West, an annual seminar for law enforcement.
And now we're actually getting contacted by other agencies who are building, learning from us, which I'm proud to say, and everybody's been very happy with what they see.
And what they see is a valuable vehicle and crew that are driven by a mission to keep Sacramento safe.
It is our flagship of the department. It's large, it's very pretty, and it's an eye catcher.
Indeed, it is all of those things. The Mobile Incident Command reaches 31 feet in length from bumper to bumper. The mast camera on the roof extends another 42 feet in height. And the camera swivels 360 degrees to provide viewing at all angles. Along with its immense size, it also provides immense power. The command van has a 15 kilowatt generator that produces enough electricity to operate all of the electronic and computer technology inside, and it supplies power to the hostage negotiation team vehicle as well. There is a price for all of that power. The total cost of the vehicle was almost $350,000, but more than half of that amount was funded by grants. From beginning to end, the creation of this specially designed command post took almost 2 years. The police department finally got its hands on the finished product in February of 2003. While police are prepared for the possibility of facing a criminal at gunpoint, most of us are not. Thankfully, most of us will never have to face that sort of trauma, but some do. Here's one man's story of being shot at and held hostage inside this Sacramento Good Guys store for more than 8 hours. Should you ever find yourself in a similar situation, the Sacramento Police Department's hostage negotiations team could be a lifesaver.
At the very beginning, it was chaotic, to say the least.
For Chris Lauritsen, executive producer of City Beat, the chaos of April 4th, 1991 is something he will never forget.
We heard gunshots in the hallway.
Chris was the manager of this Good Guys electronics store in Sacramento County when it was invaded by gunmen more than 12 years ago.
My first thought was, where can we hide? My goal was to avoid these people for 5 minutes. If we could hide for 5 minutes, he'd leave and we'd be done with it. Well, that 5 minutes turned into 8.5 hours.
During that ordeal, Lauritsen and a co-worker hid in a small closet. 4 Asian gang members held them along with 39 other hostages captive at gunpoint.
I think these guys were terrorists. Their only goal was notoriety. They had no desire to rob the store. They just wanted to be considered tough guys by other gang members.
Because the infamous Good Guys incident took place outside of city limits, the Sacramento Police Department was not involved. But they have dealt with dangerous hostage situations. On the day we visited, their hostage negotiations team was conducting a drill to practice their skills in preparation for a more typical scenario.
Ben, this is Jim. I'm with the police department. I'd like to help you if you let me.
The hostage negotiations team for the Sacramento Police Department has seen this kind of scenario before.
A lot of times, the boyfriend, girlfriend, the domestic violence scene, where it's degenerated to the point where he's holed up and he doesn't want her to leave and he wants to talk to her one more time and he's going to do something really stupid for her attention.
I want to end this thing. I got the means to take care of business here, okay? I got a gun. I've got an attitude.
Open the door! I'll shoot through the door!
When the door splintered and a gunshot came through, that was a moment you just don't forget being shot at. And I think when a gun is pointed at you in malice, it changes your life. You realize that someone now has control over your life and death. And that's a very scary thing.
My advice to them would be, do whatever the person, the hostage taker, wants. Don't argue with him. Don't fight with him. Don't make him more angry than he already is.
Yeah, we're online with the suspect. He's a little angry right now.
Yeah, Ben Hunter?
While the team leader and the negotiators huddle in the hostage negotiators van, talking with the suspect, the team's investigator continues to gather evidence by interviewing witnesses and family members.
We're here because we want to try and end this as peaceful as we possibly can. So any information that you can give me about Ben will be very helpful.
Let's just talk about this. You just got to have a gift of gab, you know, try and establish a conversation.
There's nothing you can do to help me. The only thing that can help me is if you hang up so I can take care of business, all right?
It's very hard. Sometimes you have to tell yourself, you know, let him talk or let her talk.
My job was secondary. Mine was to help the primary negotiator. I'm listening to the conversations they're both having, and I'll pick up on stuff and he'll pick up on stuff. We got kind of strategized together. I'm the silent partner, he's the vocal one.
Lordson was vocal too. For the entire siege, he was on the phone in the closet, talking with 911 operator Leslie Beach.
911, what is your emergency?
Her tenacity was overwhelming. I'm grateful for her because she was a calming force.
Now, Ben, I know you're upset, but
it takes a certain amount of training to be able to talk to these people and calm them down.
To help them accomplish that goal, the hostage negotiations team works in conjunction with the crew of the Mobile Incident Command. The team also works closely with SWAT.
The role between SWAT and the hostage negotiating team is so close together. If we need things to get done to help resolve the situation, SWAT does it for us.
I consider myself an appendage of SWAT. I'm here to do what I can verbally to put them in a better situation so they can position themselves better. If by chance I can talk the guy into coming out, so much the better.
And there were at least 3 times when they were considering swarming the building, when they were considering sending SWAT in. She did at one point say SWAT's in the building.
When the good guys' crisis came to a head, one gunman killed 3 hostages and injured 11 others.
I think the SWAT team coming in when they did probably saved lives. It was like a war. There must have been 100 shots fired, maybe more.
3 of the suspects died too from SWAT gunfire. The 4th remains in prison, serving a number of consecutive life sentences.
He will never be on the street again, and I think that's justice. John Fritz and Chris Sony were the 2 employees that we lost. I'm sure their families don't consider that justice. There's nothing that will justify anything that happened that day.
Well, can you tell me more about that?
That's exactly why the members of the Sacramento Police Department's hostage negotiations team believes their efforts are so valuable. Their goal is to prevent a situation from escalating.
We want to resolve the situation without anybody getting hurt, and that's where we come in.
The hostage negotiators know a lot more about this sort of thing than you do. And sometimes it's very, very hard to do what they're saying to do. You want to run, you want to do something rash. They've had a lot more of experience. You have to trust them.
I understand that, and you know something?
Establishing that trust with both the public and the suspect is what the hostage negotiators' work is all about.
Basically, it tells the citizen that as a department and as a profession, our first option and our most desired option is we want to talk to you. I'm trying to talk you out of doing something that I don't think you in your heart of hearts, I don't think you think this is right. We can get away with just talking, that's the way we want to go. We can resolve one of these incidents without a shot being fired or without anybody getting injured, and I consider that a win.
Put it down. I sure hope you're right about this, officer. I'm trusting you.
The role-playing experience helps us to hone our own abilities, and even if there's times when we don't get a call out for months, sometimes 4 or 5 months at a time, and these training experiences help us to actually get into the mood and actually feel like we're really doing something. It's all a learning experience. It binds you together.
Bind them together in preparation for the next hostage situation, possibly one like Chris Lawrenson lived through.
I pray that that'll never happen to them, but when it does, it'll change their lives forever.
Our Above and Beyond segment highlights the efforts of Sacramento Police Department personnel that go beyond what might be considered the required duties of the job. This time they helped raise a lot of money for the community. For the past 30 years, many members of the Sacramento law enforcement community have volunteered to put on the Pig Bowl. It's an annual football game that benefits local charities. The game has changed over the years, from the police taking on the sheriffs to both law enforcement agencies battling it out with the fire department. Hence the new name, Guns and Hoses.
This is the 30th year of the Pig Bowl.
This is the only game of its kind that has lasted or is in existence for 30 years in the United States.
As an athlete, I look back on traditions. I feel proud that we can keep carrying on that tradition, and that's what we're trying to do.
I'm just now understanding the tradition. I have sergeants who played for 15 years who are now out of the game. They're coming there asking, hey, how's practice, who's still out there? And you could tell that it really meant something to them as well. And that tradition is pretty neat. It's hard to find that.
There's some hitting going on out there today. Well, last year we gave over 50,000, close to 60,000 to charity. I think we're probably well on our way to probably matching that too.
As firefighters and police officers in the area, we feel it's important to give back to the community. So this is a very important game for that.
Let's go Hogs!
I guarantee it's over $1 million we've donated to charities in the Sacramento area.
Go Hogs! Oh, it's great fun. It's so exciting to be part of the community.
I think it all comes down to the community involvement. They're just willing to step up to the plate and volunteer their time. And there's hundreds and hundreds of hours going to putting this game on.
It starts from the day after the game ends. The new committee, whoever that might be, steps up and starts the preparation for the next year. So I know the commitment from those 10 to 20 people that are on that committee is huge, and it's not their job, so it's something they do in their spare time.
Probably about 100 people that really make the event happen, and then on game day there's probably 200 people out here.
This edition of City Beat has explored the special operations forces of the Sacramento Police Department. From the precision teamwork of SWAT to the handling of brutal hostilities at a hostage situation, it's comforting to know our police department is ready to handle these critical situations. If you would like more information about the special operations forces at the Sacramento Police Department, log on to sacpd.org. We hope you'll join us again next time for another look behind the scenes of the capital city's police force. For City Beat, I'm Joe Oliver.